money is not the goal. Unfortunately, too many of us allow money to be an excuse to not do something. When in reality, I'm not saying we should be financially irresponsible. I want to be very, very, very clear.
No.
I'm not saying that at all. I then had to really figure out my voice, which is something that I think most vocal artists struggle with early on because they often might sound like somebody else, maybe their favorite artist, they're imitating stuff they might hear. For me, I really honed in on my voice. How does it sound on that microphone? And I really started to be critical of it. How does it sound? How am I using it? What sounds best for me? And so creating music frequently forced me to listen to myself, and it forced me to start to dabble with that software to understand what I have to do to make it sound as best possible. No clue how that would get me to this point at the time, but I think you can already see where this is going. In addition to being a vocal artist, I also pursued visual arts in the form of photography. Bought a camera, started looking at all the videos, learning about ISO, aperture, white balance, all these things, the tint, the hue, and then I had to learn how to use another software program like Lightroom or Photoshop in Adobe. I had no clue that a lot of audio visual professionals use Adobe Premiere to edit video content, but I got introduced to Adobe through Lightroom. And though video and pictures are different, they are very much the same in that it's just a moving image. So it's about understanding what's going to give that image the look you want to express. Now, I'm still working to get it right, but I know my experience taking photos, working in Lightroom to give them the right, that I want it to have the right feel within that image. You got to know what levers to pull. You got to know when to move the shadows, the highlights, the exposure, the contrast, how to work the curve, pause. So when I'm doing all of this stuff professionally, creatively, it's all for the love. And boy, oh boy, is that an expensive hobby. But this is why, again, money is not the goal. Unfortunately, too many of us allow money to be an excuse to not do something. When in reality, I'm not saying we should be financially irresponsible. I want to be very, very, very clear.
No.
I'm not saying that at all. But I did say on a prior pod that this idea of generational wealth is a myth. It's a myth. We will talk about that eventually, but it's a myth. If you allow yourself to miss out on experiences that you could have taken advantage of, but you made a decision to say that money would be the reason why not, I think that's something to think about. The goal should not be to accumulate money, but to use the money to enrich your experiences.